Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Find Out, the show that gives you all you need to know about the ins and the outs of the automotive world, brought to you by Vehix. Now, I've never really been able to wrap my brain around all the different ways you can own a vehicle. I see people with a new car every 2 to 3 years, some people buy, some people lease. What's the difference? I'm your host, Jeff Wilson, and in today's episode, we're going to take a peek behind the curtain of the world of buying and leasing. So I hear your finances, your preferences, and even your driving habits can have a great effect on your buy-lease decision. To help us figure out how to spend your greenbacks is our expert, Scott West. Scott, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, Jeff.
All right, let's jump right into it. What are the differences between buying and leasing?
You know, main differences between buying and leasing a car. When you're buying a car, you're pretty much making a commitment to it. You know,
Okay,
you're
sure.
saying, hey, I'm going to stay in this car for 5, 6, 7 years. I'm ready to kind of dedicate myself to staying in this car during that time. When you lease a vehicle, it's more of like an extended test drive. It gives you the option of...
That's a cool way to think of it.
Absolutely, man. It gives you the chance of, you know, driving the car for a few years. Is this a car I like well enough to own it for a long time? And if you do, you have the option of buying it at the end.
What are the advantages of buying?
Well, you know, in the long run, it's going to be more cost effective for you.
Okay.
You know, when you lease an automobile, there's more potential of, you know, paying more for it as you go along if you do end up buying it at the end.
There's a flip side to every coin. What are the disadvantages?
You know, disadvantages are you're pretty much inheriting the whole depreciation risk.
Okay.
With buying the vehicle. As beautiful as the Audis and Porsches that I sell are, you know, they are depreciating assets.
Let's jump into the one that people probably don't know as much about. I know that I'm definitely deficient in this one, leasing. What are the advantages of it?
The big advantage, obviously, is you're really only paying for the portion of the vehicle that you're going to be using it for.
Okay.
There's a nice light at the end of the tunnel when you're leasing a vehicle. You know, that light being you can still buy the car if you want to.
Okay.
You can give it back if you don't like it. There's nothing worse than, you know, being 3 years into a car that you have a 6-year loan on.
Let's have the flip side of leasing. What are the disadvantages?
You know, the disadvantages are pretty much spelled out when you initially sign up for the car. If you're a guy that drives or a gal that drives, you know, 20,000 miles a year and you sign up for a 10,000 mile a year lease, you're going to have a big mileage penalty.
Okay.
You know, another big disadvantage is, you know, you're going to be susceptible to what are called above average wear and tear.
Okay, what is that?
Well,
what is that?
You know, somebody backs into your rear quarter panel of your car and you got to get some body shop done. That's excessive wear and tear.
Because you don't have the choice to not take care of that. Like
Correct.
If
you know, if you end up turning a car back in at the end of the lease, you're going to be liable for any excessive wear and tear components.
The end of the lease.
Sure.
My 3 years up, man, I had a great ride.
Yeah.
I got to turn you in now.
Good.
What happens?
Depends on what you want to do. You know, a lot of Audi owners end up buying their cars at the end of their lease. They've driven it for 3 years. They realize, hey, this is a great car. You know, I'd like to keep it. Nowadays, manufacturers allow you to, you know, certify your car.
Okay.
When you're done with it, it extends your
that's
warranty.
nice. Sure.
Gives you, you know, so you like this car, but you're also going to extend your warranty at the time. Or you can give it back, you know. A lot of people are, you know, in that cycle where they like something new every 3 years.
Maybe roll into another lease.
Yeah, just get into another lease. We do that all the time.
Are there different types of cars that are better to lease than others? Maybe they hold their value a little better?
You know, manufacturers will typically from month to month change the programs on their cars, you know, kind of depending on what kind of product they're looking to push. Now, traditionally, most of your manufacturers will have aggressive lease options on your bread and butter cars, you know, the cars that you sell more of.
When you're turning in that lease, you said you could buy it at that point. Do you have the same sort of negotiating power that you do when you first could have bought it originally, or is it pretty much, hey, here's the price?
Yeah, you know, the nice thing about leasing an automobile is you know what you can buy it for at the end of your lease. It's called a residual value. It's unchangeable. The manufacturer can't charge you more just because the car commands a higher market value.
Right.
You know what you can buy it for at the end of the lease.
Well, that's a lot of great information. Thanks, Scott. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Well, I know which way I'm leaning. I don't know which way you're leaning. You guys got to make your own decision. We want to say thanks to Prestige Imports for having us out. Thanks a lot to you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, Jeff Wilson. We'll see you again next time on Let's Find Out.